The horror film has been with us since the birth of the medium, casting its long shadow across the history of cinema. In the beginning, horror films drew inspiration from the traditions of Gothic literature. They were stories about vampires, monsters, and werewolves. They took place in castles and countryside, shrouded in fog and superstition.
No earthly power can help those that are marked by the sign of the pentagram.
In the 50s, inspiration came from the unknown frontiers of science. And the monsters were mutants, alien invaders, and atomic-powered giants. For more than half a century, horror was the stuff of Saturday matinees, a safe place to drop the kids for a day of harmless thrills. The good guys lived, the bad guys were vanquished, and the world was put back the way you found it. It was a time when it was safe to go to the movies.
Monsters do have their place. In the zoo, in your nightmares, in the deep, in your favorite horror movies.
But eventually horror matured, and when it did, it grew sharp teeth. This evolution began between the two films that ignited not only my love of horror, but my love of cinema. Those films are Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho and John Carpenter's Halloween. The 18 years between these movies would see the birth of many horror classics, each of which would play a special part in transforming the genre forever. This is a series about the evolution of horror, and it begins in 1960, inside the mind of cinematic genius Alfred Hitchcock. Psycho was a departure from Hitchcock's usual production style. He chose to shoot the film in black and white and use the crew from his television series Alfred Hitchcock Presents. This allowed the movie to be made for less than $1 million, compared to the lavish color production of his previous film, North by Northwest, which was made for just over $4 million. Psycho was a massive box office success around the world.
In New York, and in Chicago, and in Boston, and in Philadelphia.
It became Hitchcock's most famous film, and the character of Norman Bates would go on to become an icon of horror. But it isn't the story of poor Norman and his mother that makes Psycho a work of genius. The genius lies with Hitchcock himself, who used the medium of film and his understanding of our expectations to engage the audience in a game of master manipulation. In doing so, he brought a loss of innocence to mainstream cinema and changed the movies forever. Hey, who paused it?
Josh, it's me, God.
Oh, hey.
You've gotta give him a spoiler warning, Josh.
I was just about to do that, actually.
It's important, Josh.
Oh, I know.
Can I do it?
Yeah, go for it.
There's gonna be spoilers.
If you've never seen Psycho and don't know how it ends, go watch it before finishing this video.
We'll still be here when you're finished.
Okay, let's start at the beginning.
Faster.
Hitchcock's manipulation begins immediately with the music of Bernard Herrmann. The kinetic opening titles were created by frequent Hitchcock collaborator and legendary graphic artist Saul Bass. The horizontal lines slicing through the credits are a visual reflection of Herrmann's score. This combination of energetic visuals and music result in a powerful sequence designed to deliver a message. Prepare to be shocked. This sets in motion a thought process in which our defenses have been raised. We are now on the lookout for the means by which this shock will be delivered. Hitchcock knows that audiences like to stay one step ahead of the story. He discusses this in an interview recorded in 1962 and conducted by French filmmaker Francois Truffaut.
Audiences are always trying to jump ahead. They're always trying to say, I know what's coming next. So you deliberately play upon this fact.
As the credits fade to a helicopter shot of the city, we're given a very specific location, date, and time, suggesting that every detail we're about to see is crucial. This focuses our attention and amplifies our instinct to predict the direction of the story. We are taken through the window of a hotel room and introduced to Marion Crane, her boyfriend, Sam Loomis, and her lovely white bra.
The scene with John Gavin and Janet Leigh in the beginning. The element there is the bra.
That's the voice of Martin Scorsese, discussing Psycho in a clip from the fantastic documentary Hitchcock, Truffaut.
Okay. But it's shot very simply. but ominously. There's something ominous about it.
Marion wants their relationship to evolve into one of respectability.
Oh, Sam, let's get married.
Unfortunately, Sam is letting his financial hardships stand in the way.
Yeah. Live with me in a storeroom behind a hardware store in Fairvale. We'll have lots of laughs. Tell you what, when I send my ex-wife for alimony, you can lick the stamps.
I'll lick the stamps.
Oh. No. Marion returns to the office.
Look, Josh, that's Hitchcock in the background.
Oh, I know, I was about to point that out, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry, Josh.
Hey, no worries. I like it when you help out.
Thank you, my son. Continue.
Marion was hoping to leave her relationship baggage at the door, but fate has other plans. Enter a Texas millionaire who makes a comment about the weather that's totally wizard.
Hot as fresh milk.
Totally wizard. This guy sits at Marion's desk and starts flopping $40,000 in her face.
I declare.
Practically daring her to steal it.
Oh, I'd steal it for show.
Her boss gives her the opportunity she needs.
I don't even want it in the office over the weekend. Put it in the safe deposit box in the bank, and we'll get him to give us a check on Monday instead.
Here's Scorsese again.
For his style, the blandness of the scenes, the blandness of the framing, is just really a kind of a bridge to get you to the next major moment.
Mr. Lowry, if you don't mind, I'd like to go right on home after the bank.
How benign can we make these images that just connect the dots?
In Marion's bedroom, Hitchcock moves his camera with more purpose, as if to make us co-conspirators. Marion is packing a suitcase and repeatedly stealing glances at the heavy white envelope. This silent deliberation invites us to consider the choice with her. She sits down, thinks a little more, commits to her decision, and stuffs the money away in her purse. Purse. Let's go back for a minute.
Faster.
Opening Psycho with the post-coital embrace of an unmarried couple in a seedy motel room was a controversial move in 1960. The choice to have Janet Leigh in her bra during the scene compounds this taboo. The bright white color demands attention and serves as a visual symbol of Marion's decent moral core, a symbol completed by her white clothing and accentuated by her white purse. When she takes the money back to the bedroom, Hitchcock exposes her vulnerability again, this time putting her in a black bra. Marion may now be on the path to her desires, but she's navigating with a moral compass that points her down a dark road. Now she is cast in shades of gray. The money she is using to fulfill her needs is wrapped in a white envelope of good intention, then swallowed by the black purse. We have followed her through this transition, causing us to take on a portion of her guilt. So when she is spotted by Mr. Lowry on her way out of town, busted, we feel like we've been caught right along with her. Hitchcock has created a nervous atmosphere that continues to build when she has an encounter with a highway patrolman.
Is anything wrong?
Of course not. Am I acting as if there's something wrong?
Frankly, yes.
Prompting a hasty and super awkward attempt to trade in her car.
I take it you can prove that car is yours. I mean, out-of-state license and all. You got your pink slip and
I believe I have the necessary papers. Is there a ladies' room?
in the building.
The more detail that goes into the girl's journey, the more you get them absorbed in her problem, in her plight. That's why so much is made of the changing of the automobile.
All of this is drawing us deeper into Marion's situation. Our attempts to stay ahead of the story center on the $40,000 and the consequences that must lie ahead. Rain forces her off the highway. We arrive at the Bates Motel and meet Norman.
We have 12 vacancies. 12 cabins, 12 vacancies.
A friendly, awkward young man.
And the, over there.
The bathroom.
Yeah.
Clearly in need of the company of others.
Would you have dinner with me? I was just about to myself. You know, nothing special, just sandwiches and milk, but I'd like it very much if you'd come up to the house. I don't set a fancy table, but the kitchen's awful homey.
While Norman leaves to prepare the meal, Marion tends to the money and finds herself distracted for the first time since leaving Phoenix.
No, I tell you, no. I won't have you bringing strange young girls in for supper. By candlelight, I suppose, in the cheap, erotic fashion of young men with cheap, erotic minds.
During her meal with Norman, she compares herself and her problems to this man with his strange mother issues.
Well, a boy's best friend is his mother.
His morbid hobby.
My hobby is stuffing things. You know, taxidermy.
And his sad philosophy.
You know what I think? I think that...
Faster!
We're all in our private traps.
When the young man tells of his life in the motel and they exchange views, you still play upon the girl's problem right up to that moment, that she's made up her mind to go back and give the money back. It's possible that the audience are saying, this young man is influencing her to change her mind.
Marion is ready to shed the darkness she has allowed to creep beneath her surface. She is determined to undo the damage and repent, leaving us to wonder how Norman and his mother will become involved with her story. Seeing Norman gaze at her through his creepy little peephole fails to prompt us into taking that leap towards the unthinkable. So when she turns on the water, unleashing the smile-inducing power of the world's happiest showerhead, we feel safe. Then suddenly, the camera is in the corner. Oh dear God, no.
Hitch was right. You didn't have to build suspense anymore. They were blithering idiots. The audience was, what happened? You could hear a sustained shriek from the audience downstairs. It wasn't like, it was like, but they couldn't stop watching it. You wanted to close your eyes, but you couldn't. They couldn't believe what happened. They kept thinking it couldn't have happened. She's going to be alive.
But the truth sinks in when Hitchcock pulls his camera back and reveals her dead face pressed against the bathroom tile. We're now alone with our shock and the empty sound of the running shower, which has been robbed of its purpose. But the purpose of Marion Crane and the $40,000 has been served. We're given a moment to let this sink in as we approach the window. And that's when we hear Norman.
Mother, oh God, Mother, blood, blood.
And before we know it, our alliance has shifted. As he covers up the murder committed by his mother, we are becoming totally absorbed in Norman's plight. But Hitchcock is only halfway done with us. Our perspective shifts again to Sam, Lila,
I'm Marion's sister,
and Arbogast. The film assumes the shape of a kind of murder mystery in which we already know who committed the murder.
She might have fooled me, but she didn't fool my mother.
Well, then your mother met her. Could I talk to your mother?
No, as I told you, she's confined.
We spend the second half of Psycho following a trail of breadcrumbs that take us to a place we do not anticipate.
Mother, please, it's just for a few days so they won't find you.
In that dark, dank fruit cellar, no! You hid me there once, boy, and you won't do it again. Not ever again. Now get out!
I'll carry you, Mother.
Norman, what do you think you're doing? Don't you touch me, don't! Norman!
Norman Bates's mother has been dead and buried in Green Lawn Cemetery for the past 10 years.
I helped Norman pick out the dress she was buried in. Periwinkle blue. Mrs. Bates.
Hitchcock keeps us guessing, but never quite able to reach the truth. He expertly leads us to a final revelation that we never see coming. This is the moment when horror left the relative safety of its well-known conventions, and the cinema became a place where our trust would no longer be given so willingly.
We won't allow you to cheat yourself. You must see Psycho from the beginning to end to enjoy it fully.
Psycho was promoted with a famous marketing campaign in which Hitchcock insisted that nobody be allowed to enter the theater once the picture had started.
I've suggested that Psycho be seen from the beginning. In fact, this is more than a suggestion. It is required.
Perhaps his reason for this went beyond preserving the surprise. Maybe it was because he knew that he had used the power of our own expectations against us. And in doing so, he made the cinema a dangerous place. And he didn't want us to realize what he had done until it was too late. Next time on Psycho to Halloween.
Hail Satan! Hail Satan! Satan is his father!
Hello, thank you for watching. Did you have fun? I had fun. Let me know if you had fun. Afraid to miss a video in the future? It's even worse to miss a video in the present. Subscribe on YouTube today. Do you want to help me make more videos in the future? It's even better to help me make videos in the present. Become a patron on patreon.com today. Patrons get early access to videos and super cool exclusive stuff. Interested? Learn more on Patreon now.
After 22 years, Norman Bates is home. They say he's all right. Psycho 2. The mystery continues. Rated R.